Annyeong. Well, as I say, from slow burn romances to comedy, to sci-fi, to thrillers, period dramas, legal dramas, and whatnot. K-dramas have basically, descended into our hearts and on our TV screens and taken over our lives as, drama narratives are discussed. There are conversation starters. Titles are eagerly awaited, and foreign stars have become household names. So I welcome you to this very special panel. But firstly, let me tell you, you are on Annyeong Station that has been initiated by the Info Center to basically encourage conversations, cultural exchange, and ideas between India and Korea, and of course, between fans like you and me. And they have a whole lot of activities that happen, which I'll tell you about later. So on the second episode of the K Lounge, we are talking about something amazing, Jjang, as they say in Hangul, K-dramas, of course, which have literally, I won't say crash landed, descended into our hearts and made us do our own little cha-cha-cha. So today joining me is a stellar panel of K-drama enthusiasts who need no introduction because they are well known in their respective spheres. So my first guest is actor Priyamani, pan-Indian actor, national award winner. Also joining me is Harneet Singh. She is a television writer as well as a former journalist. Dipal Mehta, who's a cultural ambassador and has also worked on many K-dramas. And Tracy Shilsi. When it comes to K-dramas, I cannot argue with her because she just knows so much. She's a former journalist and a writer. So please join me in welcoming our guest, and all those of you who are viewing this live stream, do send in your questions so that we can take them on. And the guests are just about to join us. And as I said, K-dramas and the South Korean entertainment has indeed taken over our lives. And from K-pop, K-beauty, K-drama, K-fashion, I mean, the sky is the limit. And my guests are just joining me. And hello. Hi. So thank you so much. That, of course, everyone knows you. And Deepal has joined us. And there's Priyamani here. So I know you are in the middle of a shoot. So I'll start with you. We'll have to let her go. We are manifesting a movie between you and Song Joong Ki with my blessings of God.
But I hope that happens as soon as possible.
We are manifesting it. We are manifesting it.
Yes. And you're coming with me at that time.
And thank you so much, Priyamani, for joining us between your busy schedule. Harneet has also joined us. So hello.
Hi.
So everyone knows you are in a bit.
Yeah, I was just listening to Priyamani, who's and Puja. You are manifesting Vincenzo too with her and Song Joong Ki. So
totally.
Yes.
Totally. So
yes.
Priya, tell me. I mean, what was it? You are an actor as well, who's worked in a lot of films across genres, platforms. What was it about K-dramas that got you hooked on to as an actor?
I think the first thing that got me hooked on to was the way they explain each and every story. I mean, be it fantasy, be it an action, or be it a rom-com, be it a comedy, be it whatever genre they come out with, be it a thriller, the way they start. Because obviously in the first episode, you'll probably get the hang of or you'll understand what the whole story is going to be, or it's just going to start. But then right from the end of the first episode, or, the second episode, you just really start getting hooked onto it because you know that what the story is going to be, how they're going to package it. So that's what got me so interested as how they package the whole story and, the series, and they present it to you. And in no way you find it boring, or they keep you as entertained as possible, and they see to it that you are entertained, you're engaged to the whole story through the 16 episodes or the 20 episodes, how many ever episodes they air, be it the first season or second season or whatever. So I really like the way they package the whole story and present it to you. And obviously all the actors, they're so good, they're so phenomenal. I mean, be it even a character actor, be it the main leads, I think they're so good, and they just bring in so much of life to the character that they portray, that when you're seeing the series, you don't see the actor, but you hate the character, or you love the character that they've portrayed so much. And like, oh my God, how can is this character even real? Have they portrayed it so, because the actors have portrayed it so well. And the main thing, what I absolutely loved about the way they portray the character, it's so real, it's not, because there are times when it can get a little, if I have to say it in an actor's way, you can probably call it a little bit of overacting. But I've never seen any of that in any of the Korean series. Even if you talk about a fantasy based film, or series, or any genre, if you see, sometimes fantasy can go a tad bit overboard. But the series, whatever I've seen so far, I think they're so real, and it actually makes you feel that, were their story, has it been real? Do you think that all these guys actually lived, for them to tell the story? So it's so beautifully presented that, it just lives with you. You just carry it on with you. And obviously, I think it has impacted me so much that everywhere I go, I keep talking about a lot of these Korean series that I have seen. And I keep telling them, I think it's a must watch. Though people say, no, it's boring. And for them, it's probably just Squid Games, which they have started with. And a lot of people that I came across have said, oh, Squid Game. I said, look, Squid Game, yes, but that is a one-off genre that you started liking right now. But if you like these kind of genres, these are the ones that you need to see. And I keep recommending to each and everyone I see, once they say a series, I say, look, watch this, if not for anything, because, and half of them say, oh, you know what, Korean actors, they look very girlish, or they don't look manly, this. I'm like, listen, go watch, and then you comment. Don't pass your comments just because you saw somebody probably portraying the character in a very, in the other way. But you just go and watch. They're so good in whatever they do, and be it, even if the actor is like 40 years old or whatever, the way they maintain themselves is so amazing. So I think that's what just drew me to the Korean culture.
Yeah. Tracy's also joined us. Hi, Tracy. Since Priyamani is in a bit of a rush, I want to ask you another question. As a woman, since we have an all-woman panel here, Korean dramas also, most of them are women writers. Women characters are very strong. Yep. Is that another aspect that you see that we could learn from them, get imbibed from them, and include in our narrative?
Definitely, 110%. If not, I think that slowly we are adapting to it. As far as I know, there have been so many movies, or the series which are sort of, you can say, adaptations of Korean movies or Korean series. They are starting slowly, and if not, also I think the other take Bollywood films or take South films for that matter, I think they are coming up with strong female leads, strong female-centric roles that the heroines can portray. So, and definitely, I think the Koreans, all the ladies also, they're so good, they're so phenomenal, and I don't think they're any way lesser than men. I think they can carry the whole series on their shoulders well.
Absolutely.
Totally. Harneet, Tracy, do you have a question for Priyamani before she goes off on set?
I just want to ask you, if I were to tell you to, maybe do a remake of a Korean show, which one would you choose?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I have. So one would definitely be Vincenzo, which I absolutely love.
That's just for the kissing scenes with Song Joong Ki, right?
No. Not only because of that. I think the whole series as such, though it's a dark comedy, I think the way they have put it across, though it was directed by a female as well, at the right point, where the thriller is supposed to be, it definitely keeps you at the edge of your seat, and you're like, oh my God, what exactly is going to happen? And I think very subtly they've gotten the comedy bit also in the series. But yes, obviously I love Song Joong Ki and I forgot the heroine's name, I'm sorry, because see, that's the impact of Mr. Song Joong Ki on both Puja and myself. So I think the way they have portrayed the character, and I love the negative lead, the lady with the shades,
the woman,
the glasses.
she's fabulous.
If given a choice, I would love to play her. If they offer Vincenzo to me, they want to do a remake of Vincenzo, I'll play that character. I won't play the heroine, but I'll play that character.
And you'll get killed by Oppa.
Yeah, no problem. I'll dive in his hands. No problem. I'll be the happiest soul on earth. And the second one is, I just finished watching the series called Penthouse, and I thought it was amazing. Oh my God, the way they've just given the twists and turns is amazing. And I'll play the main lead in that, the one who turns out to be the negative shade, not the heroine, but the other one, the opera singer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have a question for her before she runs off?
Can't hear
You're
you,
muted.
Tracy.
You're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. What would be the role that you would want to do? And if also another thing I wanted to ask is, what do you think is different? Is it the aesthetics? Because as far as emotional goes, or as far as how you were saying, in 16 episodes or in 20 episodes, they pack everything. In a way, it's kind of like a Bollywood masala movie, right? If you think
Somewhere
about it,
you
you just
can
got
see,
everything. But
somewhere
what
down
is
the
it
line,
that's different? Why is it that?
No,
Do you
I
think it's
think,
the
see,
aesthetics?
somewhere
Do you think it's the?
I think the only difference in a Korean thing is there's no song and dance. But apart from that, I think it's pretty much you can relate to. It's very relatable. I mean, each and every story, even though, as I said, see, each and whichever genre it is, even if it's a fantasy, you can sort of somewhere relate to it. Even if it is something like a moon lover sort of a thing, though I haven't seen it, but I've seen a lot of its trailers and clips here and there on social media. You actually think that there were people living like this, and probably it could have been an inspiration from somebody's story, which they made it into a series. So I think it's the way they present the story and the way it's actually narrated, and the way all the actors have portrayed their roles so realistically. It actually makes you, you can connect with each and every character. You're like, oh my God, so when they cry, you cry. When they laugh, you laugh.
Yeah.
And when they sort of angry on somebody, you're like, oh, why can't this person do this? So you also are one amongst them when you're watching it. So I think that is the best part about how they present the whole series, and the whole, even if it's a Korean film or a series, the way they package it and send it, I mean, show it to the audiences, I think it's mind-blowing. I mean,
I think I agree. I think they make the small moments so big.
Yeah.
In terms of everything.
Yeah.
And the emotion.
And honestly, somewhere down the line, I do feel that I hope we have some, I'm sure all of us for that matter, when we see a nice romantic scene in the thing, when the girl sees the boy, or when she's swooning and she's falling over, and that boy, it could be nothing, where it just would be a small scene where this boy is holding her, or he's just saving her from something, and the gaze between the both of them, and they look at each other. It makes you feel that, oh my God, how, if this happened to me in real life, how would it be? So I think that is the impact, because they want to create that with you, saying, it's like this. So you're like, oh my God, I wish somebody like this would be in my life. I wish I come across somebody. And I'm sure all of us, including me, would say that let's pack our bags, go to Seoul, meet some Korean guy, and have a romantic scene like this, or if we meet somebody like this, it would be great. I'm sure all of us would be in that zone. I mean, and yes, I have come across a lot of people on social media who have married Korean boys, and they're like, oh, this is my oppa and all that. So it's great. So I think it's just, and as I said, I think the culture is very it's sort of pretty similar to the Indian culture as well, as in how they address their parents and things. So I think that it's very relatable. So I think that is the whole way they present it to you, makes you feel one amongst them.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I
Thank you.
Song Jumki for you and me together.
Please for me, manifest that I get to work with him, and Puja also comes with me when I work with
Yes,
Song.
absolutely.
We'll all come.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nice meeting all of you. Bye-bye.
Same here. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Thank you. Now, that was Priyamani. Now, Harneet, Tracy, and we have Dipal, who has worked on K-dramas. So
Oh my God, Dipal?
Yeah, I know. Everyone's envy.
Hi guys. Hi guys.
Everyone's envy, seriously.
Thank you for having me here.
Can I have my chai? It's not soju, but it's chai. Can I have it? I hope it's
Yeah.
not too impolite.
No. It's your choice. No worries.
About Harneet and Tracy, you heard how we all love it. Can you tell us
Yeah.
what goes on in the making of a K-drama?
Yes, please.
Or on the set
It's
of-
like, first of all, what I can say is, like, whenever we take up a project, okay, so there is all budgeting and all going on. Then there is like pre-production team goes on, finds location, where to do, how much money it's going to cost. First, then they book the artist, they go to the managers, they meet the artists. Sometimes artists are not available because they're already shooting somewhere else. So we have to talk to the managers. They're like, okay, my artist will do this and that and blah blah blah. So then whatever we tell them what exactly the story is about and what the artist is supposed to do. So once they agree to do a certain character in a production thing, then we sign we give the signing amount to them, and then after that they are like, okay, let's begin the shoot. We tell them when the shoot is going to start, because that is after when the direction is going to start, but before we have all the pre-production thing going on. We hire like freelancers. Mostly Koreans work with freelancers. They don't take all time artists like who are
Okay.
doing full time the same thing. We also take camera things and everything on freelance basis. We don't like have our own in-house products. So it is like also saving the money, because in Korea, like to shoot a drama is actually very, very expensive. Let's keep the movie part aside, but the drama itself is very expensive. So it's
Because that's
too
literally
difficult.
like 16 movies in one go, if you think
Yeah.
about it,
Yes.
especially some
Yes,
of them with the
exactly.
episodes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, it's like for us, it is like sleepless nights. We don't have enough sleep. So like I just came to India 2 months ago. So I was talking to Puja, and then we just got along so well. So yeah, we were discussing about this.
So what are the shows that you've been on?
Actually, usually like most of the time, I always be behind the scenes, like in production and all the different parts. So I have been in one variety show, like, and also another variety show. I've been in a couple of variety shows, and I did some extra thing because just I wanted to do like help the director and all. So I was doing some extra thing going on with Vagabond, if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that time I worked with Shin Song No. If you guys know, he is kind of a villain. Every time he
Mm-hmm.
just like a villain type of
Yeah. The
personality.
Vagabond villain. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were
So
mentioning me softly also, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, so I worked with him during Vagabond things, and then we did a drama called Melting Me Softly, if you know, of
Oh
Jjang.
yeah.
Yeah, so that is also directed by
JCW.
a female. Yeah, we had a female director. She is pretty like in real life, and she's very good. But when it comes to directing, she is very, very strict and angry. If something is not getting on time, she's like, "You have to do this time, this thing." But she really takes care of the production team and everything. Like everything is just professional. It's nothing like, oh, you be sent aside or something. And even Jisangwook, his personality, he's really good, like charming personality. He's respectful to people. Like, yeah, because like they have a certain image on screen and off screen. People think that they are not like what is shown on the screen. But actually, there are many like different other actors who are not similar to what you see on the screen, because there are many people who disrespect other colleagues. They don't even greet anyone.
Here,
So
everybody is in K-drama utopia.
yeah, because there are many people who think like, oh, it is all K-drama fantasy and all, but in reality it is very different from what we see on the screen. And even us as a production team and direction team, we have to go through a lot of troubles to have a certain artist on board, just because that person is famous among the audience. Just for that reason, else we have no interest in casting the so and so person. I won't tell that person's name, but there are certain
Come on,
people who
spill
are
some
like that.
secrets. They
You
won't
can
know.
tell the initials.
Yeah.
No, it can be something bad with me as well, like behind the scenes. Nobody would
I'm
know.
sure Harneet
So,
can explain us that also, since she's a television writer herself. And thank you so much, Deepak. Come back to you now and later. Coming to Harneet,
yeah.
and then Harneet, you write scripts. Now, we are also manifesting that you soon write a character for Yunbin.
Oh my God. Guess the first line will be the writer saw him and fell in love.
When we spoke last, you said something that K-dramas are a lot about they give you hope. They came at a time when they gave a lot of hope to people. So what was it for you, when you saw these dramas?
It was one of those
Deepak,
things
could
I
you
felt.
put yourself on mute, please, Deepak, because there's a lot of sound. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it was during the pandemic. I felt that, I had lost all hope, and I had seen almost everything happy on Netflix, and there was nothing. And somehow or the other, that crash landing on you used to just always pop up. And I love the name, The Crash Landing on You. It's a lovely title. It's a sexy, romantic title. And I said, chalo, dekhte hain. And I saw it and I was like, where were you
What is
all
this?
my life? It was like seeing, like literally, Eiffel Tower all lit up. I was so happy. And I loved it. I loved how every little detail, was given importance. The love story was beautifully charted. The girl's character, I mean, one of the things that I really love about K-dramas, their girls work. They have a purpose other than falling in love with the man or marrying him. There is agency to the girls. Even the mother's role, they give that one important moment to their parents. It's amazing. And I really love, and women writers, 90% writers are women. So the gaze is so feminine. That's why men are non-toxic mostly, very supportive to women. And I love it that it's almost two men in love with one boy, which is totally different in India, because in Indian television it's always, two women fighting over a man. There it's almost two men and the girl has to make a choice. It's really lovely, be it a startup, be it anything. And you always like, you like all the characters. And like Priyamani was saying, like take for example Itaewon Class, that Jjanga guy, he's a big bad mean villain who puts Seroy through so much, but they've humanized him also. You kind of feel that man had some drive, he didn't give up. I think it takes, when you're writing something, to do justice to all characters, to have, even to show us their backstories, even the parents' backstories. No character, no detail is just, written just like that. I think the Koreans have a very meditative process of, bringing things together, because everything, fits. And I think it's amazing. Hats off to their writers and their directors. The talent, of course, comes because we remember them. We remember the poster. We remember the hero and the heroine. But the real, the struggle is to put it on paper and to, shoot it so beautifully. They make you in 2021, which is the world of sexting and everything, they make you long for a kiss. I mean, it's amazing. It's like in the world of instant messages, we're waiting for telegrams, but this is what they do, and the slow burn is done so well. And I've just had, and the genres all kind of, I think, look at Squid Games, look at Hellbound. People here are thinking Koreans have done it, they moved on, and the Squid Game was written 10 years. That man was, had the script, it was rejected everywhere. 10 years back, somebody thought of that, amazing.
Totally, I get you. Because when he spoke in the press conference, he had nothing about wanting to make a second season. I have no money, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Little did he know. Who would have thought?
Did he know? Who would have
I think
thought?
the commitment to the story is what is so important, Like, take for example, Yumi Cell. I'm watching it. It's lovely. What is it? It's about a girl going through her life.
Absolutely.
And her voiceovers, which they have used a very nice way of all the cells talking. But the ending, I was like, they can't end like this, because they were planning a season 2. So they're also now tweaking it. Now they're also getting into seasons, but they're doing it well. They're not, and every character, I just love the way they give respect to the characters they write. Nothing, and the choices that the characters make, there is a thought behind it. Nothing is just put like that. Yeah, I really, really admire the writing a lot.
Absolutely, and
that is absolutely
Tracy, coming to you. You can add to that. And Tracy, she's a mom also. So she watches dramas with her son. Then there are certain dramas she watches with her husband. So
Wow.
There's a appeal of dramas,
It really is a family affair sometimes. Yeah.
It watches dramas, as well. So it's a family viewing, but also they have moved beyond those sappy romances, as you said.
Yeah,
absolutely. It won't be wrong to say that a lot of us get into K-dramas because of the romance and, it's all the sappiness and all the loveliness of them. they're so good looking, and the men and women both. And, like you were saying, Harneet, just longing for a kiss. I mean, when is that going to happen? That one touch, it's like, oh my God, that's an event in itself, the first touch, it's like that. But slowly, as you go into K-dramas, you realize that there's so much more. And especially now, because I have to pick and choose projects which, perhaps my husband may like, or perhaps my children may like. So I've discovered a lot more in the past 2 years that I've been watching K-dramas, like really solidly. So there's a whole lot of genres out there for everyone. And I asked this to Priyamani earlier. What is it that's different about Bollywood, or for that matter Indian movies or entertainment or shows? What is it that's different? If I had to point it out, it'd probably be subtlety. They're just very subtle. Although the writing, the characters are really strong, and everyone's very sure about what they are doing, the choices that they're making, like you pointed out. But everything is very subtle, and I think that is what draws us, a lot of us who've been watching all kinds of entertainment all these years. I think this is what really sucks us in, at least for me. Like, for example, for example, let's talk about crime, because it's a very big genre in South Korean entertainment. A Taxi Driver did very well, and each episode dealt with certain certain crimes that took place actually in real life. Whether it is that show or anything else, whether it's murder, rape, they don't need to show it. They don't need to show it. You feel it. You feel the anguish. You feel the suffering. You feel the emotions, the anger, everything, just by watching the family or the people who've gone through it, the victims, the survivors. You don't need to show it. It's not in your face. And I think that is what, at least for me, when I watch shows with my children, it can be any kind of a genre, but it's also very subtle, and I think it's very wholesome. And I think that is what attracts a lot of us, a lot of women who are sitting at home and watching it with our children, or even not, with everything that's around us. Everything is just in your face, and it's all just so disturbing, and reality is just so it's crushing you every day. And then suddenly you watch this, and even if it's something about a crime, or even if it's a thriller, it's subtle and it eases you in, and you get it, but it doesn't slam it in your face, which is perhaps something that Squid Game did to a certain extent. And I discussed with Puja, and it wasn't something that was very comfortable as a regular K-drama viewer. I know a lot of people loved it, and I wouldn't say it's a bad show, but we're used to a certain kind of aesthetic or a certain kind of narrative. But that's the good thing about Korean shows, right? Even, I'm not saying that their action isn't gory, or for that matter, their zombies aren't gory. It's the worst of the lot from everywhere around the world. They do the best zombie shows.
Look at their movies. Look at their movies, the action.
Exactly. My current favorite airing show is Happiness, which is about zombies. But you probably see a zombie like twice in the entire 1 hour episode, and yet you feel this, you're scared all the time. The excitement, the paranoia, it's all there. You don't need to push it into their faces, into the viewers' faces. And I think that is what draws a lot of people, that has drawn in a lot of audiences from across the world. I think this is one of the main charms about K-dramas, at least for me.
But if I can add, Puja,
please.
When you speak about Squid Game, the success has overtaken. It's been the biggest show of Netflix. It has, and it's so strange because it actually dethroned Bridgerton, which was escapist romance, Regency, everything, and now this is your complete survival game, and it's a dystopian show, not an easy watch, but lapped up in 92 countries where it was number one. Because that this genre, because it has a huge following and it's very bingeable. You want to watch what's next, But do you feel because I think all of us here are a little possessive about our little, little bubble wrapped K world, because it was our discovery, and now everybody is just jumped on it. And I kind of feel a little jealous because,
I get that. That was my reaction first.
And they talk about Squid Game and Hellbound. They've just discovered it,
This is a conversation Tracy and I had when everyone jumped onto Crash Landing.
Yeah. But my fear is that with global acceptance of local content that Koreans have tasted now, it has gone ballistic, the complete impact of their shows. Do you feel that the storytelling will change? It'll become more Americanized just to get more global acceptance?
It already is.
Their shows are,
I think
now we are breaking up the first episode itself with a one night stand. I mean,
so nevertheless,
that's true. Yes, definitely. When it comes to
purity and the innocence might just go away. Do you
I think the essence will still remain. And let's not forget, Netflix is not everything. Yes, with Studio Dragon, they've signed a huge thing, and which is why everything that we see
when Netflix says that they are going to put in $550 million, it's huge. Every writer would want to work with them, every director, because they're going to get paid so much. Actors are going to do deals now with them. So because we've seen it happen everywhere, and South Korea was kind of protected. My fear is that corruption na ho jaye,
Let's hope they understand what is their true essence, and and that is what attracted people initially, and hopefully they don't sell out, whatever.
That's why I want to blame Dipal also, because we've been seeing these changes, whether love, marriage, divorce, question the confusion, marriage thing. There's a lot of, they're showing what Korean society is like. Men are having affairs. There is divorce happening. Also homosexuality. Earlier they did speak about it, like you had Coffee Prince and all. But now one character, whether it's Yumi Cell, whether it was Run On, where
it's
she
out
says
there.
she's a lesbian and she doesn't want to get married. And in Yumi Cell, he says, I am not interested in you.
That was a good twist, but that was a fabulous twist.
Good twist. So, Deepal, do you feel now they will cater to the Western audience, because the Westerners, as Tracy and Harneet have said, are watching these dramas because it's giving them something that they don't get to see in their content, because there's too much of sex, violence, and cynicism
everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, actually, what I am feeling and what I have been through in Korean industry, in entertainment industry, is they are trying to grab the audience of global, international people, okay? Because they haven't been a recognized country since long years ago. Okay, since BTS has come out and it has been a worldwide phenomena, everybody knows them. Since they have been on screen, everybody is like, where are these guys from? Where do they come from? Which country they belong? Then they start learning about what Korea is about, what is the culture, what is the language, and what is the movies and dramas that people see. So once they are in the target of international audience, people are trying to make their shows in such a way that they dub it and they also sell it in different parts of the world, so they can have a global audience, right? So this is what is exactly happening right now. Everybody is trying to make remakes. They're also trying to make an original but in different languages. So even in India, right now, even I am working on a project which we are doing a Bollywood and Korean film together. So that is still on planning process, so it's not already outside, but we are still working on it. So I'm very keen to know how the Indian audience and Korean audience will look at it as a single piece, because Indian people are too different from what Koreans have seen, and even Koreans have another perspective of their own for Indian people, and Indians think that Koreans are too girly and all whatever is happening right now. But people, they do not know their culture and everything is different from what everybody sees.
I think the wave started from Parasite, actually.
Yes.
Parasite was the one
the
that
curiosity
started, right?
definitely came.
Yeah.
It
And
started
but
from
you know,
there.
now see there are link up rumors of, you know, I mean, I was surprised to read Lee Min Ho and Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
They linked them up. I mean, seriously?
No, it was something Eugene got a call from Taylor Swift. Suddenly there are rumors of Deepika Padukone doing a cameo with
With
Gong.
the
Yeah.
Gong Yu.
Yeah. Exactly.
But
No, but I
Lee
wanted to
Min Ho
ask one
dating
thing.
Taylor Swift was awesome.
What did
Yeah,
you want
Actually,
to ask?
you guys,
I wanted.
actually, you guys must not be knowing, like Gongyu has already visited India, and that too even
Yeah,
Rajasthan.
a man and a woman.
Yeah.
No,
Yes,
finding
yes.
Mr.
Yeah.
Destiny. Finding Mr. Destiny.
Finding
Yeah.
Mr.
Tracy, you had a
Destiny. Yeah, I
Tracy, you had
wanted
a
to ask
question.
people, you know, I understand that the international audience is really important. I
Yeah.
totally get that. And, you know, obviously if Netflix, like Harneet says, puts in that much money, perhaps, you know, what they stand for, what they may even try to alter things to, you know, cater to the outside audience. But, you know, at one hand, you'll have a nevertheless, or a now we are breaking up. But on the other hand, you'll also have a hometown cha-cha-cha. You know, on one
Yeah.
hand, you know, you'll have a Squid Game, but on one another hand, you'll also have a hospital playlist.
I
You know,
hope
which
that
are,
maintains.
you know,
I
because
know.
is that, and I wanted to ask people, you know, how much it's quite different. Because if you actually see the shows that are trending on Netflix or online, and the shows that actually do well on TV, TRPs, they are two very different
Very
shows.
different. I agree. Yes,
Time
Yeah.
Passer,
Yeah. That
Penthouse,
is true.
Hospital Playlist, you know, all the
Your
the
Nuna
Clown Clown.
romances. Yeah.
Luna romances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Historicals. Mr. Queen did really well, but actually, if you think about it, or you know, international audiences didn't really watch it as such, because
No.
also it wasn't on Netflix.
Yeah.
But now
They
it's on
didn't even
Amazon
watch
Prime.
Mr.
So,
Sunshine also. A lot of people didn't watch Mr. Sunshine.
exactly.
But
And
you
it
know,
did
don't know
I mean,
about it.
absolutely well.
I'm
So
adding to Tracy's question for people because now Apple also has Dr. Brain, right?
Yeah.
Amazon has a lot of K dramas now. Disney
Yeah.
Plus Hotstar is getting into production of
Snowdrop
Korean
is coming.
content.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snowdrop is coming.
So
Yeah.
these are big players who know that this is our next big pie which we can all dip in and just chip away and make profits out of their soju and tteokbokki, and they're all coming and we are scared. But like she said, the mix and match, you have your wholesome family, and you have this. So now currently what is the landscape? What are the kind of shows that are being commissioned? Are they aware that Netflix likes a particular kind of show? Because Netflix will go for everything binge worthy.
Yes.
They just want you to keep on watching, right?
Yeah.
And Korean shows take about 2 episodes, normal Korean shows, to set up.
Yeah.
And it starts from the 3rd episode. First
And they
episode
have to
sometimes-
also break up now. They have to break up between 12 and 13
Yeah.
episodes.
13,
the couple has to
exactly.
break up. So,
Exactly. Kiss at 8, but break up at 12,
Kiss at
13,
8.
and then next. But now you're getting 8-episode mini series also. If you notice,
Yeah.
DP, My Name, Squid Game are all 8-9 episodes long.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
tell us,
yeah.
what is the scene now?
But see, actually, what happened, like it began all with the Vagabond, if you know. Vagabond came on Netflix. It was like basically it began with SBS series on television. So after that started, they were like, we wanted to invest in this, and because the concept and everything is good and it is interesting, because it is also shot in a different country as well. Like few shots have been taken in another country, and then another shots which look like another country but are shot in Paju itself. It is a location in Korea. Yeah. So like
Island,
just to save, just to save a bit of amount, like only few scenes were shot abroad. So what is happening is like Netflix is interested in certain series which they think are going to make people curious, because Vagabond is like which part it is over, it is still a half story, it is not finished yet. So Vagabond series 2 is also coming up. And Celtron, like you must be knowing, like Celtron is a company in Korea. It is in healthcare, and they are investing so much. They are the main investors in Vagabond. So people are thinking like, what will make the audience curious? They play on people's curiosity, and they make the show as like, they make the first episode the way like people will start thinking what is going to be in the next episode. So from the beginning only, they start the link with and bondage with the audience and what the character is showing up. So similarly, Netflix is also thinking like we will invest in this instead, because there are a lot of producers and directors in Korean industry who do not have a lot of finance, and they have good write-ups and everything, but they do not have enough money to pay the artist and what exactly they are trying to show to the audience. So Netflix is trying to bring those characters and those stories out in the world, which are not happening because of less finances. So that is what Netflix is actually trying to do.
Yeah. But
Similarly,
Dipal, what
as
about the
yeah.
local viewers? What about the local viewers? Are they lapping these Netflix shows? Like, does it appeal to them? Is it,
Don't appeal to the locals at all.
No, this is like the Netflix part, whichever shows are made for Netflix platform doesn't consider anything for the local viewers, because they do not care. It is just made for foreign audience, because those shows are somewhat, Koreans would not even like that kind of shows which are shown on Netflix.
It's
Because
like
there
in
are many,
India.
Yeah.
Your TRPs come from your GEC soap, daily soaps. But your OTT is very different, because OTT you feel that is going to be, watched by. So that obviously, there's a
So there's that
dichotomy there.
divide, which is pretty clear. So
Netflix does take shows, their commission shows also that pick up from production houses too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But as you see, many shows like a Reply 1988 is now gone to another platform.
And they came back, but on popular demand, they brought it back on Netflix.
Oh yeah, I'm rewatching it. While I'm washing my bartan, I'm watching Reply
88. I also saw it. I was so happy. But some of the best shows are on Viki, definitely. And they are the ones that we know Netflix doesn't have them, so you feel kind of up right, humne dekh liya. But it's the shows are so good, like Jurisan and all these new shows. But that's what I'm saying. The genres, you can just whatever you are in mood of. It's like Alexa, play something romantic.
Exactly.
Just amazing.
देखूंगी आज मैं मेलो देखूंगी आज मैं
आज मैं सिर्फ ह्यून बिन को देखूंगी.
And even in romance also, it won't be just a romance. There'll be a crime, or there'll be like a fantasy angle, or there's always like a slice of life, like
hate relationship. There is a hate relationship. A hate relationship which turns into romance later on.
I love their office romances. They do it very well. They genuinely weave the romance in work. Otherwise, वो तो ऐसे नहीं चला रहा, वो सच में काम कर रहा है लैपटॉप पे कुछ.
And as you all also said about the women work, women are empowered and the man encourages her. There's no toxic masculinity shown. आजकल दिखा रहे हैं थोड़ा बहुत, but it's always a supporting actor, That's very interesting, but also gender roles being redefined, Dipal, mute please the sound. Also the gender
sorry guys, actually I'm traveling right now, so sorry.
I can understand that. Also the gender roles being redefined as such. But I want to ask you all, where do you see this going from here? Do you think Korea is going to be able to maintain its soft power?
I think the party just started.
It just started, and I think as someone who used to watch K-dramas like in the early 2000s, took a long break, came back, and I was like, oh my God, what is going on? This is a completely different world, so much has evolved in these years itself with just this one particular industry. And as far as the writers are concerned and the male characters they write, one thing very interesting is that in the society itself, that toxic masculinity is still pretty much prevalent. What we see is just in the entertainment world,
I think it is romance not happening.
And I think so as long as there are women writers and as long as they're given that freedom, I think they will continue to write aspirational women, inspirational women, men who are men who we want to be friends with, who we want to love, who we want to cherish. So I think as long as they have that down, which is something they did very cleverly, for the past at least 10-15 years, this is what has been happening. very interestingly, because they wanted to pull in the female audiences, because they wanted to pull in those women, the ajumas and the unnis and the, all of them who are tired after a day's work, and they come and they sit in front of the TVs. They wanted to cater to them, and therefore they got in those female writers. It is a planned strategy, and therefore I think it is working, at least as far as the entertainment world is concerned. In real life, we don't know. We are not there, so we don't know how it is. But I think as long as you have these women writers and also directors who allow them to do what they and give them that voice, I think, this is something which is just going to get better. Irrespective of, how much of a budget it becomes, or, whether there are more eyes watching you, there's more countries watching you. I think as long as, you get that balance right, I think, it's just starting. It's going to get bigger. Bubble has bursted, Puja. It's no more this little secret.
No, I also think.
It's like I was attending a webinar where the woman said, a lot of women think they'll land in Korea and they'll be rescued by their man. The back rides will happen, back hugs will happen, ain't happening. The men are just like the men you see in your country. So way they are packaged so beautifully. And Harneet, coming, you are a writer. You sell dreams. You basically sell dreams to us. With K-dramas, I want to ask you, how do you feel they have influenced consumer behavior? And also sold their culture so beautifully. South Korea is like a dream destination where you're beautiful. It is a beautiful country.
I was reading up that in South Korea, they only started pleasure tourism for foreigners in 1989, when their currency was falling and, international debt was rising, and they thought of, okay, let's go, let's try and do. What I love the most about how they wrap a bit of social commentary in their shows, you'll have one or two characters who will speak about the Korea that really is. Of course, because it's escapist, it's entertainment. Nobody wants to watch life, on TV. I mean, because it's TV. And so, they will make you believe in it. And some of them are really Mills and Boons done well, and done very well, because they have tweaked all that was wrong. They have tweaked the gays. They have made the heroes supportive. They're not misogynist. There are women who question now. And also, I have to give full marks to the talent there. We've spoken about the writers and the directors, but even actors. You have an actor like, Song Hye-kyo, who is agreeing to do a show now in which she's sleeping with a random man, right? It's something that normally people are so image conscious they would not do. Actors who are doing shows where they talk about mental health. These are important issues that are coming out. Conversations are starting. And I think it's very important for a culture that is, you want to be embraced by the world. You have to learn to embrace yourself first.
Yes.
And I think it's starting, with them. And also the fact that I think when they're telling the story, it's small. They are telling stories with emotion about families. Their treatment is romantic. It's soft focus, in terms of the romantic shows. Or of course, when they go mad, they go mad, with the zombies or whatever. There is no policing where thought is concerned. I write, and we are told the TRPs come in and things are tweaked. The broadcaster has a lot of say in what you're doing, because there are only 16 episodes and series are going to end. You have some control about, your material. Which I think is very important, because if the writers and the creators don't get agency, then anyone can come and do anything to your characters. Aap duniya bana rahe ho na, you're setting up a world. Today you have made something which the world is falling in love with. It starts with that character. And I think they give importance to character. Almost all their shows are such good character studies, Tracy. I've noticed from episode 1 to 16, random, even the sister will have that one moment, even that coffee girl will have the girl who's delivering coffee will have a story. They'll give her a backstory. They will make her as someone you pass by in a subway maybe, but this is her life. I think it's fantastic, the social commentary that they're doing with the stories that they're telling. For the writers and directors, I think Netflix and all coming in is very good, as I was reading, because they're going to get paid more.
Yeah.
Because apparently they're not paid. They have to write a lot. There's a lot of stress because they really have been, they churn out, look at their output. And
Exactly.
16 episodes, it's like, you said 16 movies. It's not easy. And to maintain it, and the TRP fight there is also pretty strong. The channels are all, getting into it. So I think they as long as they strike a balance between the commerce and the culture and the emotion, I think it's gonna go well. The party is started, the world is discovering them. But you know what happens, right? When the world discovers you, then you try very hard to please everybody.
Yeah.
I know. And you lose your essence, and then you just
that's
become...
when you lose your originality, your rawness. I hope that doesn't happen.
And आप popcorn बन जाते हो. From
I just
hope
hope
caviar, you become popcorn.
Yeah, true. And I just hope that hope doesn't go away. That warm feeling of starting a new K-drama, that doesn't go away, because seriously, I mean, Squid Game and all is fine. Yeah, you're wearing track suits and with those things, and
but I must tell you,
Tiger.
the Squid Game director, वो 10 साल आप कह रहे थे, he was waiting. He had no actor who wanted to pick cast in this. So he picked up the actors that he did. And look, they've become global superstars.
Yeah.
And talking about image, Dipal is here. Dipal, I want to ask you, Harneet and I were discussing about the cancel culture. When Tracy and I spoke, it does not matter to me what the actor does in his real life. For me, I stalk fictional characters. So here I am. Maybe more than Song Joong Ki, I love Big Boss and Vincenzo and Kang Maru more. So I want to tell you, this image building of the actors and their real life, how do they maintain it? Because they never speak about their relationship. Everything is very hush-hush.
Micromanaged.
Yeah.
Precisely, you can't breathe.
So basically you asked me about how do they manage it, right? So actually their managers...
because it's just so... one wrong step, you're cancelled.
Yeah. Actually, what happens is that they tell the story and the outlines of the character to their managers, and their managers and their agencies train them according to their character. So that is how it happens. So it becomes so easy as they do it in everyday life, as the manager and the agency train them. They
have so
like
much
the
control.
character.
So they have so much control over the talent.
Their agency has a lot of control on the characters. They cannot have any of the decision of their own.
My lord.
So when they have their script reading, which they call scenario, they call the script the scenario, right? So they have those readings. Don't the writers or the directors give them narration before it, or do they all meet there only? Because if like today, I'm thinking like today, Song Joong Ki, what is he going to start? Start next after Vincenzo. He chose that
remake, which is like a
curve, right? So he's a big star. He's a big star. Will he also weigh in what his agency and his managers are telling him, or can he just decide, no, I want to do mafia, or I want to do a spy story now, because he's such a big star. Can't hear you. You're muted.
Yeah. So actually what is happening is like the character. Okay, person goes to the artist and the manager, and along with the writer goes the camera director, the director, and the producer.
So
the team, they go to them and then they explain what exactly they want from the character. So that is how they portray the entire role.
Okay.
And there are not just one character in the beginning, there are multiple characters. But after they explain and after the character portrays it to the director and the team, then only they decide which character they want to take. It's not just like, oh, they pick Song Joong Ki, then it's fine. No, but not just Song Joong Ki, there are different other characters who are selected. But then they decide which one to take.
No, what she's asking, does the actor have the freedom to decide, I want to do this and not that? Or is it totally dominated by his agency?
It is dominated by the agency, because the agency wants money and they want to see how much money they can get from the production team. Okay. So
Yeah.
they see how much initial money, like the basic, they say the token in Korean language. So the token is what they give as an initial basis before the casting has begun. Okay, so they pay
Wow.
in advance and they take the advance, and after that, advance is not just a minimum amount, it is like half or more than half of the entire amount which is going to be or supposed to be given to the character.
Oh.
Saw
Yeah,
that in the Record of Youth, by the way, if you remember.
yeah,
Yeah, they did. They did. They did.
This was Record
and
of
then
Youth.
and yeah, it's like what exactly happens is after they take the amount, even if the character is not interested in doing certain scenes, they cannot quit because they've already taken the money.
Mm.
And in the
Yeah, so
dream
they have
version,
no power.
nightmare.
They have no power above their agencies. They cannot even say that we don't want to do this. The agency will be like, no, sorry, we cannot do anything. We've already taken the money and we are not supposed to return it back because
But
it's
it's
all
really
about the image.
it's so stifling,
Yeah.
yeah.
It is. It
As
really
an
is. This is
actor.
one thing which as a K-drama watcher, or for that matter, K variety, K-pop, all the entertainers there are intensely managed by agencies. I think as far as like negotiations go, it's probably everywhere the same thing. And I'm sure the bigger star, then perhaps things get a little easier. But nonetheless, I think the agencies have just so much control over the star or the actor or the actress or the singer or the artist in general. I think agencies have a huge role to play in their daily lives. I mean, if not just
Yeah,
work
sorry,
also.
Fred, they can't mess with the agency. Other the agency will just cancel you. We saw
But
that
that is
happen.
but that is
Yeah.
also because of the viewers. Let's not forget that the viewers are very unforgiving. I mean, just a small accusation is going to they will drop it at the, like a hot potato, and they will not watch your show.
Yeah.
They will not, so I think it also comes from the way the society is. Just a simple thing like, Arey, you got COVID, you are apologizing.
You have
I'm
to write a
sorry.
letter, apology
Yeah,
letter.
apology letter. I mean,
I was not
recently,
careful about COVID. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, recently,
Because they put their idols on that standard, na? Of really high
exactly.
standard.
Now, the two
Hometown
actors.
cha-cha-cha.
Yeah, hometown. Of course, Kim Sono is a different story now. It's become completely
But he's
different.
rebounded, yeah. He's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
this
and I
was
think a
something
lot
new.
of it is got to do with international support
Yes,
as well.
yes,
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
fan support
Yeah,
works
yeah.
this
And
time.
your
Yeah.
younger audience. This is not your Nuna,
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
not fight for you. But these young girls,
Exactly.
they'll fight
But
for you.
like, is it Park Hae-shin and Choi Tae-jin right now? They announced their
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the nature of that letter. It is almost as if she's apologizing for
She's
having a
apologizing.
life.
She's
And I
apologizing
don't
for
know,
falling in love.
the words.
And
Like,
yeah,
I don't know how to say this. I'm really nervous, but I want to tell you that I have found somebody who I want to spend the rest of my life with. The tone is just so apologetic. So I think, which is perhaps why the agencies have to be on their toes and have to make sure, they're doing
But
everything.
their tabloid culture is also huge. I mean, Dispatch is like a big monster. I mean, they're scared.
Yeah.
Beats TMZ and E-News follow. Perez Hilton, aap yahan, Dispatch
Scary
wahan.
Dispatch,
Yeah.
another thing it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Pooja, I would also like to mention here, like about Dispatch, as everybody is talking about Dispatch, right? So Dispatch is also being paid to give out the information of the artist by themselves.
Yeah, I am totally convinced that Salt has
Absolutely.
something to do with Kim Sono.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful. But I'm so glad that he's out of it, because cancel culture is really killing, and the guy just came out. It was a personal story. He didn't kill anyone, yeah.
Finale of Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha, another Cha-Cha-Cha happened. But yes, but as I say, they're the dream merchants. They have made the world a smaller place as we strangers have become friends, and they've brought us a lot of hope. There's some toxicity which hota hai har jagah. I just hope people would enjoy it for what it is and have discussions the way. And thank you, ladies. But before we go, I want to ask Harneet, Tracy, and Dipal for their recommendations that they want to tell our viewers that they must watch. Personal favorite.
Okay, I'll go. I would say start with Crash Landing on You, because you should start with, I think, one of the best shows, very well written. It's just amazing. I really liked a show which is My Mister. It's very cathartic.
Lovely. Very
It's
lovely.
so cathartic. It's beautiful. Just watch it for the girl's character and the man's character, and every conversation in that show will hit you. I recently saw a show which I really liked, which is Mad for Each Other. It's on Netflix. It's there.
Yes,
Got
It's
to
a
watch
little
it.
hidden
Got to-
gem.
it
It's about
really
mental.
is.
Yeah,
It
it's
absolutely is.
underrated.
Yeah.
Just two people, they hold you, and I think it's a beautiful show. So many others, but but off the top of my head, I would say this. And yeah, and I think it's just amazing how every show has something new. All the you can never say कि अरे ये तो मैंने देखा है romantic. Even weightlifting fairy, I love that relationship.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
beautiful. So these are my picks. I'd love to know from you and Tracy and people now.
And Tracy was the one who made me watch Mr. Sunshine. Thank you, Tracy. बहुत रुलवाया, but I loved it.
I have to watch it because Pooja recommended it to me
Yes.
then.
Yeah, it's always so tough now. Like when people say suggest some K-dramas to watch now, whatever, like after Squid Game or after
Tracy, you
Crash
don't
Landing
watch
on
the
You.
regular ones, na? Tracy is not into Crash Landing or Descendants of the Sun. Tracy
I
will
also
give
like-
you the other.
I have to say, I also like Itaewon Class. I think it's very good.
Yes, yes.
Tracy
I
always will
think
give you other recommendations.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
No, I have to say Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha simply because it actually has everything. It's something that will pretty much cater to everyone. It's a light, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's just very wholesome. So I think Hometown Cha-Cha-Cha is something that everyone should watch. And just because when you watch a show, and if you are a foreign viewer, somebody who's not who's going to be watching the subtitles, then you clearly want to know a lot about the society, you want to know about the people. So I think the Reply series, Reply 1988, is just fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It just it gels history with
Nostalgia.
nostalgia, and at the same time it's funny, witty, it's wholesome, loving. It's just a full package. And you can just stop anywhere, start anywhere. It's just life, and it's just going on, and you can just watch it whenever you feel like. So I think for that, Reply 1980 is one more thing that I would definitely ask people to watch if you
I
want to know.
agree.
My Mister, yeah, My Mister is another one. And just for the just for a variety, please watch a historical.
Mr. Sunshine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Sunshine, yes. Or
Chalo,
even
I'm
a-
starting.
yeah, or any other
Harneet,
historical.
you're going to cry, huh? You're going to
Yeah,
cry.
yeah.
I
So
love
don't
you
shows
are-
that
trigger
make me cry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
Don't say
What I
trigger
love
ho
about
gaya.
historicals is the Korean historicals is, you would think that the women then were,
Submissive
daba ke
or-
rakha hai, and the men are
Not at
repressive,
all.
and
Not at all.
The women are really strong, and it's just so interesting to watch historicals. They really, again, tell you so much about history. They tell you so much about the culture. So yeah, Mr. Sanjay
That
is one.
oppa is also very hot, huh?
Although
Yeah, good.
Koreans had a problem with the historical facts of it, but nonetheless you get to know a lot about the society and about the history. So yeah, these three for sure you must watch. Yeah,
I'm
especially
so happy
if you...
that she also said My Mister.
I just
I'll be
watched
honest,
it.
I
I'm
watched
totally
3 episodes.
blown away. I'm
It was
still in
too
that
much for
zone.
my little weak heart.
It's very
I'll go back to it.
cathartic, Pooja. It's just cathartic.
Yeah.
After
It
the
is,
month I've
Pooja.
had, I'm
I
gonna
was
watch
also really worried about it, but I cannot tell you how
It
much I
lingers.
loved it.
It
Yeah.
lingers. That IU na, fabulous that girl is.
Yeah, yeah,
Oof, what a
absolutely.
character.
it. Deepa's parting words,
Deepal.
parting shots.
So actually, what I would like to recommend, is like God's Quiz reboot. It is actually an action thriller mystery and a medical drama and
Wow.
about justice.
Wow.
Yeah, you will find
Actually-
something which is actually relatable to what the corona situation is going on right now. Because in that series, it is showed that a person is literally sending someone outside and putting a syringe on that person and spreading the virus. and then going in hidden, and then he sends like the word around the world that he has the vaccine for that.
They preempted it. Wow.
Yeah.
And
So it's like he is discovering it, and he's also trying to, help
Talk
people
about that he
to
has,
get
huh?
away from that. Yeah.
wow.
So it is
lovely.
really a very good drama. Yeah, it is a very good drama which you should watch. Like, many people do not know about this, but it is a very good one. And then you can also watch what I'll say is Breakup Suspension. Like, my team has made that. So please do watch it.
For
Nice
sure.
little
For sure.
promotion has happened.
Yeah.
For sure. Very soon we'll have Harneet writing a character for Yunbin since they're manifesting it.
So.
And
Yeah.
they're going to take Tracy and me along with them.
Definitely.
We'll follow them.
We'll probably camp at his house only. I'm sure Cornelian will have no problem. We're good Indian girls. We'll just watch him from Dur.
Thank you so much, ladies. And thank you for joining us. Do log on to www.infocenter.org. We have lots of activities. I'm also learning Korean language.
Yes.
There are hobby classes, talk shows, lots of interactions. So do follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. And this discussion is going to be available on YouTube. Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure talking to you all.
Same here. Nice to connect with all of you.
Thank you so much for having me as well.
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you,
Nice to
Tracy.
know you.
Thank you, Harneet.